Welcome to the Four Listeners Program. Welcome aboard, everybody. Thanks for checking us out this week. What up, everybody? I'm Spear. On the mics this week is the Z-Man. What is up, Z?
E-Man, by the power of Grayskull.
Very good.
I have the power.
Okay. All right. He has the power. No Ganthor again this week, but filling in for the first time in 5+ years. I think he did show like 3. Please welcome back to the show, the Jim. What's up, Jimmy?
Yo, what's going on? Yeah, the last show I did with you guys was why I hated the series finale of Lost.
Which was like it was like show 3 or 4, and that doesn't that includes the 2 shows that we never aired. So
awesome.
He was our first guest, right?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
he was our first guest, and you weren't around for that episode.
I wasn't.
Yeah. So this is historic in more ways than one. All right. So this week, something must be done about cartoons. Now, I have an 8.5-year-old son, and he'd want me to give him credit for the extra half a year. And he watches the most insane cartoons. Like, I will sit with him while he's got Cartoon Network on or something along those lines, or YouTube videos of this stuff, and my eyes will pop out of my head because I feel like I'm insane. One of his favorite shows is Uncle Grandpa, and I want to get this right because I'm not entirely sure I get this. Uncle Grandpa is an fat elderly gentleman. His best friend is Belly Bag, which is his talking red fanny pack. There's Mr. Gus, who is a green dinosaur with a pizza T-shirt on, and then there's the talking slice of pizza, Pizza Steve.
Pizza Steve, he's the best.
Pizza Steve, and then every once in a while there's Giant, and this is the real name, Giant Realistic Flying Tiger.
Is Adam Sandler in this somehow?
No. And
I've none of these things compute.
None of it, no. And watching the show doesn't make it compute any better. It just, in fact, it almost makes it worse to see these things in motion with voices telling stories. Like, if you asked me what this show is about, I could not tell you.
I absolutely hate that show. It drives me crazy. It's like watching a retarded man walk across and have like the world and have adventures like that are just insane, even if you wanted to believe in insanity. It's horrible. It's the worst show ever.
But this is what we're showing to children. Like, my kid loves this show, and I fear for his future. I almost want to stop him from watching this.
Oh, I would. That show? It's horrible. And I wouldn't show a child that. I would show a child things that I watch before I would show a child that show.
I can't with this show. I can't with this show. I can't with the regular show.
Oh, I love the regular show.
The regular show is fucking bananas, dude.
Oh, I love it. It's great. It's like bananas in such a good way, though.
No. Why is it bananas in a good way?
It's just like 80s bananas. It's like hair metal bands, mullets, arm wrestling, Atari video games, freaking laser discs. It's hilarious. It's a great show.
Is it like Beavis and Butthead?
Difficult to describe. So the 2 main characters are more. I want to get this right too, Jimmy. So keep me honest. Mordecai and Rigby.
Yes, correct.
They all work at a park,
right?
And that their boss is kind of an idiot.
He's not necessarily an idiot. He's kind of just like a gruff, like old timer, like, simple. Like he'd be like the graybeard in the workplace, kind of like when in my day we did hard work. There's
a cast of characters in here. There's what would you say Skips is? Is he a gorilla of some sort?
I would say he's some sort of ape.
Ape. Skips is voiced by Mark Hamill.
I'd never put that together.
Yeah, Skips is Mark Hamill. So now I watched this show the other day, again sitting with my kid, and they had this thing where they ate apple fritters that were double glazed, and then they went to like separate planes of Sugar Rush. And
it's awesome. It's like trippy. It's great. I've never seen the one you're talking to, but they do stuff like that all the time. Like they have a Death character who kind of like reoccurs.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to be Death, and it's like he looks like Lemmy from Motorhead. It's awesome. It's awesome. The show's great.
It doesn't make any sense. But I mean, this was like, it got trippy. It almost got like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas trippy.
Yes.
And again, I'm wondering why this is on for children of a young age. Like, you think it's awesome. You're in your 30s.
Yes.
It's okay.
I love that show. It's great.
Yeah, but so does my kid, and I'm frightened that my kid is enjoying the same kind of crazy-ass shit that you are.
Yeah, but it's subtle. Your kid would never pick up on some of the older references, obviously, because he's young.
Yeah, but how does he keep up with, like, the trippy shit?
It's like it's imagination time. It's like, ooh, and look, if he's watching Uncle Grandpa, that's like way more trippy than it's like stupid trippy.
Yeah, well, no shit. And the one that makes me the most insane is Adventure Time. Like, I cannot describe Adventure Time. Like, if somebody asked me, gun to my head, describe what goes on in Adventure Time, I couldn't do it. I'd be dead.
The one thing I will say about the show, it is subtly evil. I love it.
Yeah, it's subversive.
Yes, it is.
There's some next level evil shit going on in there. But the kids are watching this. Like, I'm wondering whether or not there's like this undercurrent of evil that we're poisoning our children with.
Oh, most definitely.
Oh my God.
Right. One of the main characters is Marceline the vampire.
Right.
Yes.
And then there's the lick. The lick?
The lich.
The lich.
Think of old AD&D, like a lich.
Yeah.
Suck the life out of you.
Like, Z, have you seen any of this stuff?
I have no idea what's happening.
Yeah. Okay. Do you watch any cartoons? I mean,
I'm big into any of the Star Wars Rebels and Clone Wars. I thought those were really good.
right.
I'll still watch Family Guy.
Oh, please tell me you still watch South Park.
I do still watch South Park. I love South Park. And I love the video games that they've been putting out for them. The Stick of Truth, and they're putting out another one. I can't remember what it is. They're going to a sequel. And then the other one I watch is Horseman, Horsejack.
BoJack Horseman.
BoJack
Horseman.
Horseman. Thank you. I mean, it's just funny because it's like all these people that you know all the voices, you know all these people, and it's ridiculous and crazy and weird, but it's funny. I like the jokes. They're definitely made for my generation.
Yeah, but that's the thing. They're made for us. They're made for our generation.
Just because the format has a cartoon does not mean it's for kids.
Right.
That's nothing new, right? I mean, go back to the Flintstones. That was prime time for adults.
Yeah.
The interesting part about this particular conversation is that these cartoons, like when we grew up, cartoons were really simple, right? It was things like the Smurfs, the Snorks, the DuckTales.
Well, first of all, the Snorks were just the fucking Smurfs underwater.
Right.
It's the worst. And you know what? I would have watched it, and I would have liked the show better if they would have took the Smurfs and just put them underwater, and you had them watch them drown. That would have been much better show.
But so here's the thing. I mean, as straight up and down as 80s cartoons were, and they were, you got to admit that, I mean, there was a straight up and down kind of clean way of looking at cartoons in the 80s. The 90s had some, that's where I think people went bananas. Here's the one cartoon from the 90s, and this may be why I can't watch today's cartoons, because I never really got into this one. Ren and Stimpy.
I had a love-hate with Ren and Stimpy.
I never got into Ren and Stimpy. What about you, Z? Did you?
I watched it, but I mean, I remember it from the time. I can't watch it now. It's just that stupid. Like, yeah, it's funny if you're high.
Well, that's what all these cartoons nowadays are.
Yeah, nah, you know what?
Yes, Jimmy, you have to be tripping balls in order to really appreciate some of these things.
No, because Ren and Stimpy had a lot of, there was like, Ren and Stimpy, I equate Ren and Stimpy to like Always Sunny in Philadelphia. A good episode was really good, and if it wasn't a good episode, it was just pure shit.
I completely agree. But for me, it was mostly fucking awful shit. But I mean, some of the stuff that was on Ren and Stimpy was like, it was disgusting.
Yeah, it was shock value.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they have the Ren and Stimpy episodes where like Ren was like the the wildlife. Who was he supposed to be? They were taking a shot at. I want to say Jacques Cousteau, but not where he's like, look at the Stimpy in his natural habitat, and he's like, they're doing like a nature show.
Yeah. Like
they did some clever stuff like that.
The enduring thing, I guess, from Ren and Stimpy is the songs, like the Happy Happy Joy Joy, the log.
Log, it rolls downstairs, a loner in pairs, rolls over your neighbor's dog. It's good for a snack. If it's on your back, it's log. Log. It's big, it's heavy, it's wood. Log. It's better than bad, it's good.
Good job, Jimmy.
It was awesome. It's great.
I'm singing on my side here too, which just shows you how endearing that ditty was.
Yeah. And then at the end when they would do the little log thing, like the Slinky commercial, and then at the end it would be like, "Do not insert in mouth or rectum."
From Blammo.
From Lambo.
But
Yeah,
who
it's
the
awesome.
hell says that on a cartoon for kids?
Well, what are you
Wasn't for kids.
What are you gonna do?
All right, so there's a distinction then between cartoons for kids and cartoons for adults, and that line gets drawn at 9 p.m. on Cartoon Network.
Yeah, if you remember, the original promo was Adult Swim, all children out of the pool.
All
Adult
children out of the
Swim,
pool.
yeah.
And Adult Swim on Cartoon Network has some next level crazy ass shit.
Well, you got to remember, it wasn't overnight, right? They started with Space Ghost Coast to Coast, which was like towards the end of the 90s, I think.
Right, and he was the host.
He was like a talk show host,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I at some point, I don't know how many seasons that ran, but at some point during its run, they decided to move it to their new idea of Adult Swim, like for adults. They did a lot of syndicated stuff too. They picked up canceled shows and ran them. So I think it was Space Ghost Coast to Coast,
C-Lab 2020.
C-Lab 2021. I got a whole. Let's save that for a minute. C-Lab 2021. They did Harvey Birdman,
Right.
Attorney at Law,
Attorney at Law.
Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Yeah, Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Now, just touch on that for a second. There was a shake, a meat
Yeah.
a meat wad,
Yeah, Meatwad, Shake, and the fries.
and
Fry-Wad.
fries. Those are your
Yeah.
main characters. Was a walking goddamn Happy Meal.
That show is one of the best shows ever on television. Hilarious.
Have you ever seen this, Z?
I can't watch it.
I can't
Oh,
watch
you
it
can't
either.
watch it?
I can't watch it either.
It
Shame
makes
on
no
both
sense
of
to
you.
me.
I can't.
Shame on both of you. It's one of the best shows ever. That show ran for 14 years.
Yep.
Like, I don't know how to explain like 14 years of Aqua Teen Hunger Force for people who never watched it.
That's exactly my point. There you go. You have just made my point for me. You cannot describe, nor can I, the insanity of Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
But it is awesome. It's just a beautiful insanity.
Okay.
It's like you watch it and you're like, this is the best thing ever, and the people who came up with this are geniuses.
What about C-Lab 2021?
All right, so back in the day, does anybody remember? Now, I believe I'm only a couple years younger than both of you, right?
Right.
So back in the day, USA Network used to run syndicated shows, the Cartoon Express, right?
Right.
So one of the shows in this Cartoon Express, they take all the old Hanna-Barbera shows, and they did this show called C-Lab 2020.
Right.
And I hated this show with a passion as a child. It was boring. It was an underwater science lab. They're rescuing people. They're like looking at dolphins. It was the most boring show I've ever seen in my life.
But that's what we got. Those are
yeah.
the cartoons that I really liked. They were
No, it's horrible. It's horrible.
All right.
Absolutely horrible.
Okay.
So one day I'm waiting for Aqua Teen to come on. And before Aqua Teen comes on, I start seeing the intro to C-Lab 2020. I'm like, what the fuck? And it comes on, and then it rolls over. The 0 rolls over to a 1. And what these guys did, I mean, it was just genius. Just some of the most genius things you'll ever see in your life. What these guys did was they took the show and they kind of like Space Ghosted. They kind of like revoiced it, used some of the backgrounds, used the characters, but kind of like animated them. So like sometimes it would be like kind of new animation, sometimes it wouldn't. But it was one of funniest shows. Like they were a bunch of knuckleheads, and they did like the funniest shit. And it's like Eric Estrada did a voice. Oh, it's just like he was their big get, Eric Estrada, and he did like the first like 4 seasons, 5 seasons.
He was
like
their
that.
big get.
Yeah, Eric Estrada. We're doing a little cartoon that came on at 10 o'clock at night.
In no world is Eric Estrada a big get.
Come on, Chips was huge.
I would call that a big get. I would
Yeah.
call that on the level of Mark Hamill.
Yeah. So he's
Wait,
awesome.
hold on. Did you just compare Ponch to Luke Skywalker?
No, I'm saying that them as voice actors for cartoons, they're on the same level.
But here's the get. If you want to know how genius this is, Adam Reed and Matt Thompson, right, were the creators. So after they cancel C-Lab, they go on to the show called Frisky Dingo. From there, right, Frisky Dingo gets canceled after 2 seasons, and these guys go on with a lot of the same voice actors. They go on to Archer, which to me is one of the top 3 cartoons on today. I mean,
Archer is great. Archer is one of the ones, again, it's one of the shows I think I should watch it regularly, but I don't. And I think I would enjoy it very much.
It's hilarious. This is one of those. Archer is a show about a spy agency. And keep me honest here, Jimmy. It's about it at least started.
It was about a spy
It started
agency.
It started about a spy agency called ISIS of all things, where Archer is the main character. He's like your James Bond type of character, the whole thing on this show is that they're horrible people. Everybody on the show is horrible.
But they know they're horrible.
And this show is an absolute mix of C-Lab 2021, like with the horrible characters, and like the Frisky Dingo. It's like a perfect mesh of like those jackholes. Different setting, but it's like definitely you could see the other two shows in Archer.
Yeah, they're horrible people. They do horrible things to each other. They do horrible things out in the world. Everything is horrible, but it's hilariously horrible.
And the cast is A+ in that.
Yeah, it's H. John Benjamin, Aisha Tyler. What's the guy from Saturday Night Live? Chris Parnell.
Chris Parnell.
Chris Parnell. I'm drawing a blank now. Judy Greer, which is hilarious. And the chick from the old broad from Arrested Development.
Yeah, I'm blanking on her name.
Yeah.
I got it. It's in my head.
Come on, Jimmy.
Jessica Walter.
There you go.
Right, and then right. So Ray Gillette is Adam Reed, who is the creator. Right, he's the creator, and he's also the creator of C-Lab and Frisky Dingo. And actually, he was the main character in Frisky Dingo. So
that's the one show that I've watched that somebody put a gun to my head, that Jimmy put a gun to my head and said you must watch. The other one, my buddy Q, put a gun to my head and he said you must watch Metalocalypse.
Yeah, I like Metalocalypse. It's a good show.
Metalocalypse is fun too, Z. It's about a heavy metal band that is so big that they have a GDP that's larger than any country on the planet.
Right, but it's more than that. All right, so the overall every story is whenever they play a concert, a lot of people get killed, things turn out bad. Hilarious.
Right. Again, it's horrible people doing horrible things.
But if you follow the episodes, there's a little underlying like story arc where they're the band that's going to save the world,
right.
And like there's this secret like cabal that's like trying to stop them. It's really, and they're oblivious to everything, and they're just fucking complete like wastes of human life.
They're rock stars. They don't give a shit about anything.
You know, they have the guy from like Norway. They have the guy from like Finland.
Right.
Loki and Skwisgaard, and you know they talk like the metal drummer, like, you know, Nordic accent. It's great.
Yeah, it's a very funny show.
And they do the Dr. Roxo is the best. Dr. Roxo, he's like modeled after, I think, Guns N' Roses. Like he's supposed to be like that 80s like hair metal.
Yeah.
And he's like I'm a clown. I'm Dr. Roxo, and I'm a clown, and I love cocaine.
It's fucking bizarre.
Oh, it's great. It's hilarious.
It's bizarre. And the one show that I've had a gun to my head now for a while from any number of people is Rick and Morty. Do either of you watch Rick and Morty?
I am obsessed with Rick and Morty. That is the new number one. Like, it's all right. So right. Archer, Rick and Morty, and Venture Brothers. They're the three best shows on, hands down, right now.
So help me out with Rick and Morty.
All right. So the characters are based on Marty McFly and Doc Brown, and it's picture if they're related. And Doc Brown's an absolute alcoholic. It's the best show. The show is just hilarious. It's like just like picture Doctor Who meets Back to the Future meets a lot of alcohol. It's awesome.
There you go.
It's great.
So here's the thing. So you just described Rick and Morty in like 10 words. You said it's Doctor Who meets Back to the Future with a lot of alcohol.
Yeah, it's great.
All right. So here's what I want to do. All right, I want to play a little game with you guys. All right, I want to try to describe, because the biggest problem I have with some of these things, like Adventure Time and fucking Regular Show and Uncle Grandpa and whatever else, is that I can't describe in 15 words or less what these cartoons are. So I want to try doing that. I'm going to play a game. I'm going to give you a cartoon, and I want you to try to describe it in 15 words. I'll give you an example. So I'll start with the Simpsons. 15 words. Dopey yellow family gets into hijinks in Everytown, USA. That's The Simpsons. Every episode, it's that.
Okay.
So let's try to do that for other cartoons. Start with the Smurfs. We'll take an easy one. Start with the Smurfs.
Blue things, 3 apples high. Smurf the day away.
No. Woodland fairies annoy the fuck out of everybody.
Okay.
Is it wrong that I have rooted for Gargamel in that show?
No, not at all. All right, how about Tom and Jerry?
Mute cat and mouse play ass grab through various settings.
Okay.
With an occasional dog and smaller mouse.
Right.
Yes.
I can't give just Animaniacs because there's too much going on there. So how about Pinky and the Brain?
Super intelligent lab rats try to take over the world.
There you go.
Did you ever see the Robot Chicken? Where like they cut to the Pinky and the Brain in the lab, and Pinky's like, "Come on, Brain," and it's like turns out that Brain just has like this massive tumor in his head, and he's like imagining not the whole thing. It's hilarious.
How about He-Man? He-Man and the Masters of the Universe.
Muscle-bound do-gooder saves the day by beating the crap out of everybody.
I like how you called him a do-gooder.
He is. He's another one that was annoyed the piss out of me.
I like that. How about DuckTales, Z?
All right, ridiculously old duck likes to bathe in gold.
Nice. Likes to go for a swim in his money bin.
Actually, you can go with this to make a Trump comparison on this one.
Yeah, you could. Going swimming in his money bin. How about Inspector Gadget?
Spy accidentally solves crimes with the help of his niece.
Bumbling police gets body replaced to become robotic monster.
How about the Jetsons?
Flintstones in the future.
Flintstones in the future. Okay. Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Annoying.
Well, only one word necessary.
Middle-aged man plays with chipmunks.
Plays with chipmunks that play music.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say cartoon stage moms.
Cartoon stage mom. Nice.
That's pretty much what it was.
Scooby-Doo.
Stoners solve crimes and a guy with an ascot. and it's always the first person you meet.
That's right.
He's the bad guy.
That's right. All right. Good luck with this one. Voltron.
Space pilots fly giant lion robots.
Or vehicles.
Or
Fuck
vehicles.
that. I choose not to acknowledge the car version of Voltron.
Oh, man.
I hated it.
Better toy, dumber cartoon.
I'm looking through the rest of this list to see if there's anything else. Like Bobby's World, I don't remember enough.
No, that was horrible.
All I remember about Bobby's World is it was Howie Mandel's dumbass voice.
Even though that's one of his best stand-up bits ever.
Yeah, but it doesn't translate well to the cartoon.
No. He does this bit where he's like everybody was well after the Bobby show, right? He used to do this bit. He's like, he'd do the Bobby voice and everybody would know it. He's like, yeah. He's like, no. He's like, everybody says I'm a genius for coming up with Bobby's World. He's like, you know what the genius is? He's like, listen to this. And he's doing Bobby's voice. And then he goes, Mogwai. He's like, yeah, that's right. He's like, Gizmo and Bobby. Same voice, 2 checks. He's like, that's the genius.
What did we learn? What did we learn about cartoon Z-Man?
We're too old for this shit.
We're too old for this shit. How about you, Jimmy? What'd you learn?
Well, if you think you're too old for this shit, you're not watching the right shit.
Maybe.
That's all I have to say. Because all the stuff I watch is definitely geared towards me.
Maybe. What did I learn? I learned that I don't think I'm alone in not understanding these shows, and that I may want to stop my kid from watching some of this shit.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of good cartoons out there. They make you think.
They make you think crazy.
I don't see anything wrong with the regular show.
I see a lot wrong with the regular show.
Oh, how would you say? Oh.
All right. So if you think there's something wrong with the regular show or any of these other, like Uncle Grandpa or whatever else, why don't you go ahead and let us know on the Facebook page, facebook.com/4listeners or 4listeners.com. You can check out the show on Stitcher Radio or on iTunes. Just search for 4Listeners and we'll pop right on up. And you can tweet at us on the Twitters at 4Listeners. Thank you, Jimmy. You've been a wonderful guest.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to be here.
And we thank all of you for checking us out this week, and we hope that you will check us out again next week. Thanks a bunch, everybody. King of the Hill is in that. Isn't there somewhere?
Well, right. Beavis and Butthead was a spinoff.
Right. Well, King of the Hill was a spinoff from Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah, he was the Hank Hill character was the neighbor. I don't know what the name was in Beavis and Butthead. But
Are you the kids I call jerking off in my shed?
No, it was a whacking. Are you a whacking in my shed?
Whacking.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good impression you got there, Z.
Are you a whacking in the shed?
Those are other kids.
Yes, pretty much.